In this video, I'm going to show you how to load a circuit builder software. So I sent you a link, and what you're going to do is go up to your top of your browser, and you're going to paste that link, touch enter. It's going to bring up this circuit builder. Now you'll notice that it has intro and lab, and I'm going to click intro. It's going to load the builder, and if you look down at the bottom, it gives you the intro and lab choices. Now the difference between the intro and the lab, you'll notice over here on the right hand side that you have a voltmeter and an ammeter. And if I click on the lab, it gives me two different kinds of ammeters. It gives me different things that I can introduce into the circuit to create a different dynamic. What I like about the lab is the ammeters that you get the choice of, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But for right now, let's begin with how we're going to build a circuit. So over here on the left, you'll notice that there's wire, battery, light bulb, resistor, and switch. And if I click on these arrows, it gives me more choices. But for this circuit, we're just going to build a simple series circuit with two light bulbs and a resistor. So I just come over and I'm going to grab some wires and place them in different places where I'm going to need them. You don't have to do it this way, but I'm just showing you how to kind of work your way around. So there's enough wires, I think, to get started. I'm going to grab a battery. What I can do is I can click on one side of the battery and change its orientation. And I'm going to set this battery down low, and I'm going to connect a wire to it. I'm going to connect a resistor to it, and then another wire, and I'm going to drag this wire and make it longer. I'm going to grab this wire and connect it and kind of move it over. And what I'm doing is I'm creating space so that in the middle here I can put the voltmeter and one of the ammeters. Let's grab a light bulb, and let's grab another light bulb. And I'm going to move it so that you can see the intensity, because I'm going to change the values of the resistance of these light bulbs. I'm going to connect them together. You don't have to do this exactly the way that I'm doing it, but I have sort of a method for my madness here. I want to be able to show you with things pretty open. Okay, so right now I have a series circuit with two bulbs. If I click on the switch, it closes, and you'll notice that the little balls, the little blue dots or balls, are moving from right to left. That represents electrons flowing through the circuit. Now, if I want to make them flow faster, there's a couple ways I can do that. I can increase my voltage. So if I click on this battery, it brings up a volt slider. I can slide the volt slider, and you'll see the voltage increases, the light bulbs get brighter, and the electrons are moving faster through the circuit. You can't hurt anything by ramping it all the way up. Like right now, that's 120 volts. And you'll notice that the little blue balls are moving faster. And if I slide it back down, this is approximately half of where it just was. It was at 120, and now it's at 59. If I want to bump it up a half a volt at a time, I can click on this arrow, and each time I click, it increases by a half a volt. So if I want to do exactly 60 volts, that's how I could do that. Moving the slider does it more quickly. Okay, so that gives us an idea of how this circuit is going to work. If I want to come over here to the other side of this voltage, if I click on this, it's going to make the little blue dots move the other way, because that's changing the polarity of the battery. You'll notice that the battery will flip when I click on this. So click. Now you'll notice the battery is facing the opposite way and that the little dots are moving the opposite way. So that's just what happens when you change polarity. It changes the direction that the electrons flow. I'm going to click again, and now it's back to where it was. Now I'm going to show you these different meters. So if I click and drag on the voltmeter and bring it over, and this is why I built the thing open like I did, was so that you could see everything and still use the meter. And then I'm going to click on this ammeter. This is called an inductive ammeter. And all you have to do with this inductive ammeter is drag this little crosshair wherever you want to check the current. And you'll notice that wherever I place this, if I put the crosshairs right on the little dots, it's reading 2 amps. And it doesn't matter where I put it in this circuit, it's going to read 2 amps. And that's because it's a series circuit. And that's what we're talking about right now, is just a series circuit. So any place I put it, if I get the crosshairs into the little blue dots, it reads 2 amps. I'm going to leave it up top here out of the way, and I'm going to play with the voltage again. And actually I'm going to hook the voltmeter up at the same time. So I'm going to put the voltmeter on the battery. And check the battery voltage. Right now the battery is sitting at 60 volts. Now, if I click on the battery, it's going to bring up that console again. And I'm going to increase the voltage back up to 120. Okay. And I'm going to touch my leads so that they're both on the battery. It's a little bit tricky, but it's a nice little deal here. So there's 120. Now I'm going to come over and measure the voltage on different things. Like I'm going to go to the bulb, and I have to get that right on the bottom little circle. And I'm going to move this one to this other little circle. And what this is measuring is called the voltage drop. And so you see it's measuring 40 volts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the bulb, and that's going to open a menu for me to change the resistance of the bulb. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this bulb to 20 ohms. I can do that by clicking here, or I can do it with the slider. I'm going to get it close with the slider. It's not easy with this particular computer, so I'm going to use the little arrow. So I want to put 20 ohms on this one. And the reason I'm doing this is to show you the effect of changing the resistance and what that does with voltage. So you notice every time I change it, the voltage changes a little bit. I'm going to set this one right on 20. I'm going to check the other one. The other one's already on 10, so I'm going to leave it. Then I'm going to go to this resistor, and I'm going to make it, I'll leave it at 10. So now we have a 10 ohm resistor, a 10 ohm light bulb, and a 20 ohm light bulb. So let's check our voltage on our different pieces here. So now I'm across two light bulbs and I'm showing 90 volts across two of them. Now if I just bring this negative lead from the meter over, it's showing me 30 volts. So there's 30 volts on this bulb. There's 60 volts on this one. This guy has 10 ohms of resistance. This one has 20 ohms of resistance. What do you think is going to happen when I go across this resistor that's a 20 ohm resistor? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my leads with the black one on the left and the red one on the right, and you're going to notice that when the voltage shows, look what happens. It shows it as a negative. And that's because the leads are switched. And that doesn't hurt anything. If I switch my black lead to the right side and the red lead to the left side, it'll change that minus 30 to a 30 without the minus. So go ahead, if you will, and build this circuit and test it and see what you come up with, and then we will work more with some other instructions. Thank you. Bye for now.